So now that we've looked a little bit at what is coaching in general and why might coaching matter, what we can do now is take a look at specifically what is ontological coaching. Ontology is the exploration of what is real. What is it that is blooming into being? What is the nature of reality? And ontological coaching is a method of coaching that places emphasis on the observers that we are, the lenses through which we make sense of the world, as well as how this impacts who we are and how we understand the world that we live in. When our views become fixed, we find ourselves in a fixed world. An angry person lives in an angry world. A sad person lives in a sad world. A happy, joyous, thriving human being sees possibility wherever they go. And so we can see in this that there is a direct marriage between how we perceive and the reality that is blooming in our experience. And so our job as an ontological coach is to help our clients essentially look at how they look, to take a view of how I am viewing, and then source a place within myself that is always curious, interested, resilient, and capable. And from that place, look at how I have been looking and begin exploring how I might want to change the ways in which I have been looking, the ways in which I have been being in the world, so that I can rest in a kind of perspective that is more congruent with a world that is filled with possibility, where I am able to begin engaging with my life in such a way that I'm more interested in what I don't know, and that I have a direct experience that the world I am in, with all of its problems, with all of its agonies, with all of its pain and its suffering, that there's always a glimmer of hope, and there is always potential nested within anything that I might encounter. And so through the process of ontological coaching, we start to notice that as our observer change, so does the world that we are living in. Thus, at the heart of the ontological coaching tradition is to support ourselves and the people that we work with to help make the invisible visible, to find those shadows that hide in the dark, the things that motivate our patterns, our behaviors, the ways in which we create subtle warfare because of the perspectives that we don't even know that we have. This tradition of coaching has the desire and offers the skill sets required to be able to help our clients look underneath and then look underneath and then look underneath some more to make the invisible visible. Now, to do this, we look at many domains which we use to know the world, and these are also domains where we can keep things hidden. So the first area that we have a lot of interest in exploring is the domain of language. Language as a sense-making vehicle. We make sense with language. I am making sense right now through speaking language, and hopefully you are experiencing new meaning as a result of the words that I am saying. Because to speak is to give birth to worlds. If I were to say, I love you, that gives birth to a very different world than if I say, I hate you, or I shun you, or let's go change the world together, or you have an infinite amount of potential, and I want to engage that potential with you and make this world a better place. All of these statements are ways in which language gives birth to a different reality. These create different states of being, and they either open or close possibilities in various ways. So by looking at language more deeply, we are able to open new worlds, birth new worlds, and have more skill in relationship to creating the kind of world that we want to live in through understanding and cultivating the ways in which we use language in our lives. Now, another dimension that we're interested in at the Newfield Network is looking at our interiors. Our interiors include many things, such as our unconscious narratives, our conscious narratives, our various emotional states, and even the deeper yearning of our soul. All of these aspects of our interiority, they help form the observer that we are. And if we are able to learn skills and practices to be able to go within ourselves and access these different dimensions, take a look at our narratives, take a look at the emotional states of being, take a look at the deeper wholeness that has an unrelenting yearning to be alive and to say yes. All of these domains have the opportunity to be a part of our observer. And some of them are hidden, such as narratives that make it impossible for us to succeed. Some of these dimensions are hidden, such as perhaps the qualities of unrelenting curiosity. And so the ontological coach is one who, through partnership, through partnering with another person and engaging in a kind of catalytic conversation, helps these invisible domains become visible, to shine light through the darkness, through the hidden territories of our being, so that they can be foregrounded, and that allows us to have greater choice. It allows us to access greater possibilities, and it allows us to know ourselves. And of course, to the degree that we know ourselves will be the degree to which we know other people. And so this becomes an incredible opening for how we might be with the other people in the world in a new way, so that we can together continue to try to make this world less divisive, with less suffering. The third domain that I want to talk about that we're very interested in as ontological coaches is the domain of the body. Having a body is a way that we know the world. If my body is in an anxious state, I will perceive that I am living in an unsafe world. If I instead have an open-hearted body, this welcomes a very different conversation. Thus, we can say that the body is a portal into all of the patterned ways that we interact with one another. Anger, open-heartedness, fear. These are not just narratives in our head. These live within the flesh. And to know the body more deeply is to find an incredible source of insight and transformative power. So ontological coaching, it draws upon these many different features of who we are, these many different aspects of us that we use to know the world, and invites us through an interaction of deep partnership and presence to help make the invisible visible. And then once the invisible becomes visible, the ontological coach invites the client to source their own intrinsic wisdom, to become clear around how they want to interact with these new things that they have discovered. So that now the client themselves becomes the central transformative agent in their own lives through the partnering with the coach.